Have y'all ever had hummingbird cake? It's a southern cake that combines the tropical flavors of bananas and pineapple and also adds a crunch of toasted pecans. The whole thing is layered with luscious cream cheese frosting. This cake always reminds me of springtime. It'll give carrot cake a run for its money. Of course, my version is gluten-free, so let's get into it and I'll show you how to make it. I'll start by whisking together the dry ingredients in a large bowl. I have 3 cups or 420 grams of my gluten-free all-purpose flour blend, and I'll add to that 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon and 1/2 teaspoon of allspice, as well as 1 teaspoon each of baking powder and baking soda, and then 1/2 teaspoon of salt, kosher salt. And I'll just give this a quick little whisk. This recipe is so darn easy, y'all. There is no mixer required. As you can see, it just comes together in no time with simply a few bowls and a whisk. It's very similar to a carrot cake in that they are both oil-based and really easy to throw together. All right, I'll set this aside and get my wet ingredients together now. To this bowl, I'll add 1 cup or 240 ml of vegetable oil. This is an oil-based cake. Like I said, you can use any neutral flavored oil you'd like. Then I have 1.5 cups or 345 grams of mashed bananas. They don't have to be completely mashed. If there are a few lumps, that's perfectly okay. And then I have an 8-ounce can, which is 227 grams of crushed pineapple, but don't drain it. We want that yummy pineapple juice in the batter as well. I'll add in both sugars. I have 3/4 cups each, which is 150 grams each, of both brown and granulated sugars. And I'll start whisking this together just a little bit before I add in the eggs, just to get it a head start before adding those eggs. Okay, there are 3 eggs in this recipe, and you can just plop them right in all at once. No need to put them in individually, mixing in between each. Just go for it all at once. And of course, we need some vanilla. It's supposed to be about 1.5 teaspoons, I think. But y'all know I never really measure vanilla. I just eyeball it. And that's the gist of our liquid ingredients. So now we just need to combine the two. Get all of that goodness in there. You want to make sure you no longer see any floury bits or streaks. All right, that looks great. And finally, to the batter, I'm going to add chopped toasted pecans. This is 1 cup or 125 grams, and I'll just fold these in. I toasted these by putting them on a baking sheet and into a 300-degree Fahrenheit oven for 8 to 10 minutes or so, or until they were very lightly fragrant. Don't ever walk too far from toasting nuts. They can go from perfectly toasted to burnt in a split second. Ask me how I know that. I've burnt many a nuts in my lifetime. All right, I'll just divide this batter between 3 8-inch round cake pans that I've greased and then lined with parchment just on the bottom. I'll just shake them to level them out, and my oven is preheated to 350 Fahrenheit. I'll bake these for roughly 25 to 28 minutes or until they spring back when lightly touched and a toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean. I'll leave these to cool in the pan for 10 minutes and then flip them out onto a wire rack to let them cool completely. Alrighty, these are cool. So Hummingbird Cake is always frosted with cream cheese frosting. You'll find a few different recipes on my YouTube channel as well as on the blog for cream cheese frosting, each one a little different than the other. One I think uses brown butter, which is absolutely incredible. But if you want to go for the one I'm using here, I'll leave a link for that video up above. This is a really nice and stiff cream cheese frosting, so it doesn't get all like wonky when you put each different layer on. And I'm just spreading about a cup or so of the frosting in between the layers. And then I like to frost layer cakes by adding a good amount of the frosting on top and then kind of twirling it around and allowing the excess to fall to the sides. But you do it whatever way you want. I am no professional cake decorator, so don't go by anything I say. I just like to get them kind of level and smooth, and that's the extent of my cake decorating skills, basically. And then I use my scraper to scrape off the excess and make it nice and smooth on the sides. And finally, I have another 1 cup or 125 grams of finely chopped toasted pecans this time. And I'm just grabbing handfuls of them and sticking them to the bottom of the cake, just lightly pressing them to the bottom. And then I'll take a bench scraper and scrape around the bottom of the cake just to get the excess off. And I'll sprinkle a few on top too. And there we have it, gluten-free hummingbird cake. It's so moist, you can actually squish it with your fork and it stays on your fork. It's the perfect southern springtime cake, y'all, with those wonderful tropical flavors of banana and pineapple, and then the crunch of the nuts. Now, if you don't like that crunch, my husband's not fond of the crunch and of nuts inside the cake. You can leave them out and just adorn the cake with the nuts, or leave them out entirely. The traditional is toasted pecans, though. This is so good, y'all. Enjoy.